Biff, Horizon Zero Dawn review. You've
Yep.
completed it.
So have you?
I've completed it as well, but you are here to review this game. Guerrilla Games, so the Killzone makers. Needless to say, you weren't a big fan of those, was you?
Nah, it's garbage. That is Killzone.
Well, I guess off the top of the bat, then is Horizon garbage. Same developers, different ideas, but surely they haven't got the capability to make anything good.
Well, they have. No, it's good. Good game. Much better than Killzone. Very, very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Excellent. I think that'll cover off a lot of people's concerns because there's a lot of people in that boat who weren't big fans of Killzone. Sat there and think, why are Sony doing this?
Well,
Um,
I was all right until you mentioned it. I was looking forward to Horizon, and then you said it's done by Guerrilla Games, same people that done Killzone. I was like, oh, fucking hell.
it's not what I want at all.
No.
We normally do a cards on the table piece at the start, but because it's a brand new IP, there's really nothing I can probe you at other than you've played Killzone, which was Guerrilla's last game. But in terms of the setting of this game, it's brand spanking new, and I think that's one of the things you liked about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I've been sort of harping on about getting games on the PS4 and them taking them time, and this is like one of the first sort of new sort of franchises we've had that's come out, and it's well, not one of the first, but it is a new one, and it's quite a big game release this year, and it sort of stood up to it, and I was very happy with it. Very happy.
Yeah. So at a high level, can you set the scene of what the premise of Horizon Zero Dawn is? What is going on?
There's been some sort of apocalypse,
Yep.
and it's wiped out the world, and machines have taken over,
Yep.
and in the form of animals, and you have sort of low technology,
Yep.
but it's sort of technology fused with old-fashioned weapons. So you have a bow
Sure.
and arrow, and things like this, and a spear, but the spear is sort of has technology linked into the spear. So it's sort of old weapons linked with new technology,
Yep.
and it's just you're trying to discover what's happened and who you are and,
Yeah.
and, and what's gone on, basically.
Excellent. So these weapons you speak of, they are, like you said, like a bit of a hybrid. That plays into how the combat works, doesn't it? Because there are lots of options here when it comes to actually fighting these machines.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a vast array of weapons you have, and a couple of them I went the whole way through the game, didn't even use them, didn't use
Oh,
them a single time. So I could play the whole game again and play it in a completely different way if I wanted to.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm a big fan of a bow and arrow, so I just stuck with a bow and arrow. Quite boring, really.
So what sort of plays in the bow and arrow do you get? Because there's actually different types of bow and arrows. There are elemental side of things. Give us some examples.
So basically, with animals, they all have sort of a weakness,
Yeah,
and your arrows can sort of take advantage of that. So some are allergic to freeze, some are allergic to electronics, some are allergic, not allergic, but their weakness is fire and
yeah.
freeze and electrics. And
They don't come out in a rash then when you fire
yeah, yeah.
a bit of fire at them.
And you have like a hunter's bow, a sharpshooter bow, and a war bow, and they all hold different arrows. So some hold, like I say, electric arrows and
Yeah,
fire arrows and ice arrows. Others hold corruption. So basically, you can shoot an arrow and then take control of that animal for a short period of time. So if there's a herd of them, that one single animal will help you fight the others off.
sure.
There's one that's sort of penetrate the armor and just blow the armor off the side of it, so it doesn't really hurt it. But then when you
Yeah,
fire just a normal arrow, it will hurt it more because it's not got the armor to protect itself.
sure. Yeah. So primarily you're fighting these machines, I guess they are. But you're a big fan of the design of these. They're familiar animals that we've probably seen on Attenborough's documentaries, for example. But
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job because it never looks like an animal; it always looks like a robot.
yeah,
But you always know what animal it is, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So
The mannerisms of them are all spot on, aren't they?
yeah,
How they act.
and some are solo sort of animals, like you get in like the natural world.
Yeah,
So there's like hunter animals, and then there's other like herd animals, and when they move together, you can spook them, and they all run off together, or they all charge together, and it's really good. It is really clever how they've done it, sort of thing.
yeah. So that's sort of the combat and what you're actually doing. But outside of the combat, this is a massive open world, isn't it? It's a great big map for you to go off and explore, filled with a main quest to go and follow, and things like resource gathering and side quests. How are these parts of the game? Because these are obviously things that flesh out quite a big part of the experience. Other than the moment to moment fighting, you are going to be travelling, you are going to be collecting resources, crafting, and doing all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it all sort of does work quite well. The crafting system where you have to gather resources is quite basic, but it's really, you can pick it up really quickly, which I quite like. It's not too complicated. There's a load of stuff to collect,
Yeah.
and a lot of it sort of does the same thing. Some of it doesn't, and it's quite simple to sort of master pretty quickly. The environment is like one of the best things about the game, really. I mean,
Yeah. Stunning.
you walk around and it looks fantastic. I mean, we talk about Uncharted 4 as like sort of pinnacle of graphics, and I think definitely the environment is up there for me. Maybe not quite as good, but it's very close.
Yeah.
And they really do look the bollocks, basically.
Yeah, I mean the scope of the game's far bigger than Uncharted, so to
Yeah,
have it look that good with that kind of scale is very impressive. And you played this on just the PlayStation 4. Obviously, there's people out there that have got PlayStation 4 Pros and 4K tellies of HDR. That's going to look even better. But even on the stock PlayStation 4, it played well and it looked well, didn't it?
yeah, it looked amazing. And my telly's very, very old as well, and it still looks fantastic on it.
Superb.
So
You wanted to
yeah.
mention the side missions. What was it about the kind of the track off the main quest that you enjoyed about some of the side missions that you come across? Because these are often filler shit. I normally would tell that would describe them as, but you seem like you're quite impressed with this part.
Yeah, basically, I found with the main story, it sort of goes on, and it gets quite complicated.
Mm.
But with the side missions, I was quite refreshed in the fact that the story, it's like a small miniature story. So it could be like someone's gone missing, you need to track them down. So you talk to someone, they tell you that, you track them down, and you follow that it's like a little miniature story that affects you
Yeah.
and that one person. And it's quite sort of nice to be able to wrap it all up within like 20 minutes, half hour, rather than the story sort of it doesn't drag, but it's quite complicated and goes from one place to another place to another place. Where I
Yeah.
like the side missions that it was just like you can have a whole little mini story wrapped up in 20 minutes, done and dusted.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you mentioned that you didn't particularly like the main story. It dragged on a little bit. That was perhaps one of the weaker parts of it. We've also mentioned that there's a progression in this game. There's a progression in Horizon Zero Dawn. It's to do with the skill points, and you weren't too impressed with some of those, were you? That you get to upgrade Aloy, who you control in this game.
Yeah, I thought some of them were just real wishy-washy. Like there was just no point in doing it. I mean, I don't want to sort of go into detail and spoil it, but
Yeah.
there was a couple of them, and they weren't. I remember I unlocked them and I couldn't tell the difference. So I was like, I don't know even if that's unlocked or if it's glitched,
Yeah.
or even when online, I
There's
was
no
that sort
tangible
of.
difference to what's just happened there. I've just unlocked them.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah, basically, yeah. I felt like it was just some of them, like they had a certain amount of skill points they had to do, and
Yeah.
so they got to a set amount, they were like, well, I'm fucked. I don't know what else to do here. Let's just give her this one.
Yeah.
It was like sort of an afterthought. Some of them were.
Yeah. Human enemies play a part in the game as well, and obviously there's a completely different dynamic to fighting humans than the machines. But fair to say, not quite as interesting as fighting the machines, is it?
No, they've got the AI on them is awful. You can be spotted by one bloke in a canyon,
Yeah.
and a geezer 2 miles away knows where you are,
He's
and
a
things like
joke.
that. Just yeah, yeah, it's like a fucking bat, that one. But that's sort of a minor thing because
Yeah.
the human enemies aren't really a big deal in the game. It's more sort of the animals. But when you do fight the humans, you do think, wow, this is really repetitive and shit because
Yeah.
they just come charging over. They don't have any thought process into it, and it's pretty basic.
No, you don't have the same kind. You don't have to use the same sort of tactics. You don't have to diversify your attacks. It is, headshot if you can get it. If they come close, strike, that sort of thing. So, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not as interesting as fighting the machines. Well, fair to say that I think you did enjoy it. What overall? How would you sum up the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite negative. It sounds like I'm quite negative, but it really was a really, really good game.
Mm.
And those are really small things about to pick on, but the actual game itself is fantastic. It plays really well. It's a
Yeah.
new sort of thing to get involved in. Your environment looks fantastic, and it's just good fun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just go for the whole game, and it's just fun. It's just a good thing to play.
Yeah, excellent. So, the all important formalities. Horizon Zero Dawn, would you buy it or would you bin it?
Fucking buy it.
Buy it, seal of approval from Biff. So, and he's a notoriously hard person to please. And let's see how well it grades though. What would be your official grading for Horizon Zero Dawn?
I'm gonna go gold. I'll go gold for it.
Yes! Excellent. A gold rating for Horizon Zero Dawn. Guerrilla Games, well done. That's it for here though. Thanks so much for your time and ta-da.